Bet.
You know what white grape juice always remind me of, bro? Muscadine wine. Muscadine wine is like, it's so amazing.
Funny for me. I don't drink wine. I can't afford it.
Chris, shut up. Chris.
You drink wine, guy?
I don't.
Yeah.
Who don't drink wine? First of all, wine not expensive, bro. Wine not expensive.
Bro, wine low key cheaper than liquor
That's
unless
what I
you
was
talking
about
about
to say.
some.
What? The only thing that's probably cheaper than wine is beer, but beer is like, it's like piss water, bro. Like, everybody, we don't get too political on the show.
I get offered Coronas a lot.
I bet. I mean, you live in Boston, bro. Like, come on. That's. But like, if you really think about it, bro. Everybody like shooting up their Bud Light cans and all that, and I'm just like, y'all was drinking Bud Light to begin with, bro. Like, what is your life on? What's good with y'all, bro? This is crazy. But anyway, fellas, we got a show. We got at least one player that's going to be saying ni hao next year. We got at least one player that's getting ready for the Shanghai Sharks. But I'll tell you what, there's another one on the brink. But before we get into the show, fellas, tell me this, because we were talking about Sauce Gardner not knowing who Jessica Alba was, and Aaron Rodgers being very surprised by this, because Aaron Rodgers is a 40-year-old man, so of course he knows who Jessica Alba is. He is very intimately aware of who she is. Sauce Gardner, however, 24-year-old, 23-year-old?
Yeah, 24 max.
24-year-old from Detroit. Of course he didn't know who Jessica Alba was. So that brought up the conversation of who or what has had the worst fall off in our lifetime. Go for it.
All right, if I got first pick, we can do a snake draft. I got Halo.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm a gamer, and even though, all three of us are gamers, but I don't think y'all as big in the gaming as I am. But it was a point in time with Halo 3, Halo ODST, everybody and their grandma played Halo.
Hey, it got so bad, I used to get bullied for not playing Halo, because I only play sports games. Like, I've always been terrible at first-person shooters, so, like, I just never really... Well, not really my thing. But Halo has seen quite a fall off. It has seen quite a fall off. Chris, what you got?
Wow, that's a deep one, man. That is a deep one. But the second pick of the inaugural fall off draft, I'm gonna have to say True Religions. True Religions.
Ooh, True Religions.
Okay.
Hey. Bro,
Do you know how bad True Religion fall off is? True Religion used to be the hottest thing in the world, and now every time Rimble step near a mic, True Religion be like, bro, please don't slander us this time, bro, please. When that man said, how do you really feel fly in the true fit? I was like, he not lying.
Listen. Now they trying to bring the true joggy fits back, but I don't know if they will. But this how you know. I was at the Salvation Army doing something for work, doing a volunteer thing for work from the plant. We had set up a volunteer thing with the Salvation Army. When I tell you a lady came, dropped off a box of clothes, we go through it, it's some Wranglers, stuff like that. But one of the boxes, a long list of truths, just a whole box full of truths. They just gave them away. Salvation Army was, oh yeah, we can sell these for $10 instead of $2. I was like, really?
Y'all don't understand. People used to get mopped over them. Like, for real. Like, you...
At Cass, it used to get steep.
Hey, I remember Scully got low on that little boy True jacket, like he wasn't 6'5". Like, bro, it come up to your elbow, Scully. What are you doing? Like, what are you?
Scully's 6'5". Where's
That's what he was 6'5". Yeah, he was 6'5". The jacket stopped right here, and he still rocked it proudly. I hope he's doing well now. I hope both of them are doing well at this point in life. I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta say it, and I know it's gonna hurt some feelings. Fuddruckers had the worst fall off of all time.
I swear I was just having this conversation yesterday. I swear.
Fall off was so, because here's the thing, right? I grew up not too far from Fairlane, so like in my mind, I was like, oh, Fuddruckers is like a big thing just to me. And like in college, it was like people talking about the fact that like, yeah, Fuddruckers used to be a thing, and like these are players from the middle of nowheresville that's like, yeah, it was the Fudd Ruckers Next to our movie theater too. And I'm like, wait a minute, you from cousin sleep in South Carolina? What's going on here? Like, how do you know what's it? And he was like, yeah, bro, we have Fudd Ruckers. And I'm like, where did they all go?
Man, I went to Detroit Academy right there on Jefferson. Right across the street was that Fudd Records next to the Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
Dog, I could not wait. Every Friday, I could not wait to get me a Fudd Records situation, dog.
Bruh. And it just turned out like, I don't even know what happened. It wasn't even like a slow gradual thing. Like with Blockbuster, it was gradual.
Right, you could see the decline.
We saw it over time. With Fudd Ruckers, you just woke up one day and you was like, hey, bro, where did all the Fudd Ruckers go? Like, what happened here? Very nasty work. Very nasty work. But, boy, we got some more player declines to talk about because you know what it is. It's the second annual Slandy Awards. Don't worry, we're going to have a theme song for the Slandys next year. But it is the second ever Slandy Awards. And, boy, are we excited. And I know what y'all thinking. Oh, they only gonna slander basketball players and they just gonna slander Dillon Brooks and the Grizzlies. Oh, they're getting theirs, but they won't be the only ones to get it. Fellas, y'all ready to get into this show? We got some playoffs to talk to. We got some Jimmy turning into Jordan. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the facts over at Axe Crew. We got the master, the mix and master, Josh Guyton.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man of the plan, Chris Allen.
Right here.
And then you got the little old MC, that's me, Kenton Gibbs. Now, fellas, the second annual Slandy Awards, I'm going to leave this one up in the air because we all know who has to get the first Slandy because he's earned this. He's thoroughly earned this. And you know, when they, I'm going to read this thing like how they do at the award shows. This Slandy goes to a man who was dedicated to trashness. His unending quest to be one of the worst players on the court. He literally shot the worst field goal percentage of every player with qualifying attempts in the NBA in the playoffs, while saying that one of the best three players of all time is old and he does not respect anybody who gives him 40, while simultaneously getting put out by 40. This young man needs no introduction. The man, the myth, the legend, the jean jacket, Dillon Brooks. Ni hao, y'all. Ni hao.
Ni hao to Dillon Brooks.
Ni hao to Dillon Brooks, everybody. Ni hao to Dillon Brooks. Everybody.
Slandy MVP.
He's the Slandy MVP for a
man
reason,
dressed like 04 Shawn Michaels.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
He got the Scully jacket on low key.
Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Have y'all ever seen as abrupt and as ugly of a divorce from a team and player that was not for any like legal reason or like we literally cannot have him back as we've seen with this?
I have never seen that in my life purely based off of performance. Of course, we saw, players maybe get into fights, have off-court issues, get to big moments and not live up to it, and then we saw a gradual decline. It was literally, they lost on what, Sunday? Saturday? By the time we rolled around to Tuesday, they said this man would not be back under any circumstances. We seen Ron Artest punch fans. We seen Latrell Sprewell choke the coach. We've never heard an organization say under any circumstances. Do y'all understand? I saw this thing earlier. Shout out to Kofi Sports. He said he's the only player I've ever seen in my life that fails the eye test and the analytic test.
Oh, that's just, very nasty work. Very nasty work. Chris, have you ever seen anything this bad and this quick?
I actually feel a little different than Guyton, bro. I haven't seen nothing this bad. But let me say this. Let me say this, right? Dillon Brooks actually is not a horrible basketball player. Like, let's keep it a buck. Dillon Brooks is a mid player. He's not like garbage though. Like, he's not like a player like you'd be like, why is he in the league? You know what I mean? Like,
you could have said that up until about whatever the first day of April 14th or whatever the first day of the playoffs was.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is the reason why I think this is the craziest fallout breakup is because Until he opened his mouth, the spotlight was not on you, Dillon Brooks. You didn't have to be that guy, the second guy, the third guy, the fourth guy, or the fifth guy. It wasn't until you opened your mouth and put a target on your back. You put your own target on your back. Everybody blamed LeVar Ball for Lonzo's struggles, right? He said LeVar Ball put a target on Lonzo's back. Lonzo didn't say anything. That's his father. So at some point when you get to know Lonzo, the target gets off his back. Everybody in the league loved Lonzo. Dillon Brooks purposely put a target on his back, right? So that's why this is just crazy to me, because the Grizzlies like, listen, bro, you gonna shoot yourself in the foot. We not dealing with you no more. Like, you can't even help yourself out.
A target on his back against, again, one of the greatest players of all time. That's like your first day of assassin work. You being like, hey, I'm gonna go kill John Wick, bro. Hey, he got a 15 nails on his head. I'm gonna go collect it. That's what I'm finna do. Bro, what? What is wrong with you? I'm gonna tell you this. This is the fastest I've ever seen. Like, very seriously, I've never... It's not just the under any circumstances. It's not just that. It's how quick this happened. Like, yes, that turnaround of a day. When have we ever seen a player be announced that, oh yeah, he's not coming back before the season ends and there was nothing crazy to happen? I want y'all to think of every time a player's ever been like, oh yeah, he's done here, and think about what happened. And I want to use this as an example because, like, and this is not like a joking matter or like anything like that. Aaron Hernandez killed a guy, and like they held on to him for as long as they could till it was apparent, like, oh,
he still played about another season and a half.
Until it became clear that they were like, oh, he's not coming back. He's going to be in a jail cell. They had the Bucks and Antonio Brown, until he took off his clothes mid-game and jogged off the field. They were like, hey, bro, we'll figure it out. We'll work something out. This man, the next day after the season is over, yeah, he's not allowed back under any circumstances. And the quickness was half, or really 3/4 of what made it bad. But the last quarter, that when you sprinkled that under any circumstances on there, oh my God. Oh my God. That's like partially to an IG chef. You ain't have to do that. You ain't have to. Why you have to do them like that?
You know what? In the biggest fall off drafts we had at the start of the show, IG chefs should have been on there.
It's too many.
But IG chefs was trash since the beginning, but they was everywhere. Yeah. Have y'all ever had an IG chef plate?
Yeah, I haven't. No, actually, my dean was an IG chef, and he could actually cook pretty well. He could cook pretty well. Yeah. But it was. I'm gonna tell you though, I was very disappointed with the lack of greens. Like, brother, you need some fruits and veggies on your plate. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, you know what I mean? The lobster mac and cheese is delicious and all. And I mean, I'm glad I paid $60 for this plate, but like, I got to be able to, like, this has to process through my body at some point in time.
Right.
It got to go. So, no, but seriously, man, Dillon Brooks, So do y'all think he plays in the league next year? Do y'all think he gets picked up by somebody else who plays in the league next year?
I am going to say no, because reports are coming out that Dillon Brooks' agent is asking for between 20 and 25 million.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro.
20 and 25 million over what, like 5 years?
Per year.
Ni hao.
I'll tell you this though. Eric Bledsoe over there making about 14 to 15 before he got suspended for point shaving. He was making about 14, 15. Yeah. Go ahead. Get your stuff
okay,
on.
So I will say this. It's only a certain group of terrible franchises that shell out that amount of money. And I've been seeing a lot of people say it. I don't think it's going to happen. But Gibbs, do you think you see your Detroit Pistons?
Please don't do that.
Printing Dillon Brooks jerseys next year.
Don't do that. Let me explain to you why this would not happen for the Pistons. Let me explain to you why this would not happen for the Pistons. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to get the number 1 pick next year. Let's just go ahead and just realize we're Detroit. We're not going to get 2 number 1 picks within a 10-year span. Not going to happen. So with that being said, you'll probably get 2, 3, whatever the case may be, whatever. You're probably going to end up with either Scoot or one of those other long athletic wings that it seems to be a ton of in the draft this year. Why would you need Dillon Brooks? What could Dillon Brooks do for your team? And remember, we just got rid of a shot chucker. We just got rid of Sadiq Bey.
I was about to say,
Why
Sadiq
would we
Bey
bring in? Why would we bring in Sadiq Bey with a freaky jean jacket? Why would we do that? It make no sense to me. So I'd hope that they know better. I would hope. I can't guarantee it, but I'd hope that they know better.
Yeah, I think he does get a job, but he's gonna have to humble himself, right? What I mean by that is, after 20-25 million, it's not gonna happen. I mean, right now your stock. I look at everything like this. When your stock is high, you go ahead and you be aggressive. Your stock is low. It's like, all right, I gotta build my rapport back up. If I was him, I would go for a 1-and-1 deal. Right, just in case I have another stink season, I still got a player option, and then I would try to put the work in. Cause like I said, he's not a bad player until he opened his mouth. Dillon Brooks was a solid role player for the Memphis Grizzlies until he opened his mouth.
True.
I mean, if we be honest, he was a key rotation player on the second seed Grizzlies teams. Right, so for me, a team that could use him a lot, which I don't know why they do these type of things. The team that I think that will probably try to grab somebody like him is the Portland Trail Blazers. Hey, dang, we got you, Dillon Brooks. Are you happy you going to keep staying with us and running away from the ground? Or are you going to, depart finally and try to go get a championship? I think Portland would be the ideal situation for him and for Portland because it's a move that Damian Lillard might be able to be like, okay, you tried to add a solid role player, wing defender for me, but and Dillon Brooks, he can shoot as many shots as he wants in Portland. If Dame ain't shooting, anybody can shoot. So.
Hey, I mean this with my whole heart and soul. If I was Damian Lillard and they told me the help we got you is Dillon Brooks, I'm retiring. Y'all trade me, I'm retiring. Y'all trade me.
I agree.
I'm out of here.
I agree. That's Dame's main objective to stay in Portland for whatever reason. That's
yeah, okay. All right. That would be the moment that my main objective changes. That would be the moment that that's just not it. That's just not it. I'm packing the mail. It's gone, as the baby would say, because I ain't gonna be there no more. You ain't gotta worry about me a single second longer. But don't worry, folks. Dillon Brooks ain't the only one getting slandered today because we got more Slandys to hand out. His fellow teammate, his partner in crime, the guy who, every now and then there comes a special talent in deserving slander. There comes a guy who everything he does is just so slanderable. From showing his nipples in the strip club on live to flashing guns and beating up 17-year-olds. And then to getting in an interview with a gorgeous young woman, which he says, we're good in the West and not making it out the first round. I'll tell you what, his failures are as colorful as his hair. The second Slandy of the year goes to none other than Ja Morant. Clap it up for Ja Morant, y'all. Clap it up for Ja Morant.
Clap it up for Ja. Yep.
Clap it up for Ja. Clap it up for Ja. After this first round exit, how bad do the "we good in the West" comments look to y'all? How bad do they look at this point?
The "we good in the West" comments look absolutely terrible. But at the same time, I think out of everybody today that's receiving a Slandy, I think Ja Morant has the biggest chance at redemption.
Oh, absolutely.
He's still young. He still has a good core around him. So, I mean, in sports, the ultimate forgiver is winning. We done seen people get away with way worse if they win a couple of games. So, if it wasn't for Dillon Brooks, Ja would be the Slandy MVP of this year. His teammates saved him. That's the personification of a good teammate right there. Forget losing in the first round. Dillon Brooks saved that man from being a Slandy MVP. But those comments look terrible, but that man has a chance at redemption.
I like it. Chris, what do you think about Ja Morant's comments, "we good in the West"? Were those one of the worst agent comments you've ever seen?
Hey, bro, that was probably worse than when Trump remember he had COVID and he took his mask off like he wasn't up there like about to die when he was up there breathing hard. He took his mask off in front of the White House and raised his hand up like, that AIDS worse than that because he was in a hospital a day later like fighting COVID. That AIDS worse than that, bro. Because Ja, and this is the thing. People blame the young lady he interviewed. I'm not going to say her name, but they blame the young lady he interviewed talking about we need to stop putting pretty women in front of these superstars and having them. You can't blame her for that.
You can't
at all.
You can't blame her for that. Ja head got so big. You got to remember, he is 23 years old, making $20 million a year or more. Right? If the three of us on this show know what kind of trouble we'd be if we made $20 million a year.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's just a maturity thing. Ja just got to grow up. So I mean, I think Ja gonna bounce back from this. You know, winning. The best way to clear your past is a bright future. A mentor told me before. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Ja got saved by his teammate Dillon Brooks. So,
not Chris ended up on the episode of Judge Mathis. Gangs, jail, I've been there. Second chances, I got one. No, but I'm gonna tell y'all, this is why the depth of how we slander Dillon Brooks, we will never truly get to the bottom of that pit, because We Good in the West was the second worst. It was the second most poorly aged comment from this NBA season. You want to know what the first is? He doesn't like to go left. You told somebody you don't like going to your dominant hand, and he put the dagger in your team, driving on that dominant hand. Man, I'll tell you what. Dillon Brooks, what a time. But Ja Morant, I'll tell you this much. You're absolutely right. Mayor talked about Ray Lewis. I could think of some worse guys, because Ray Lewis had to win some championships for his redemption. I could think of some worse guys who never won championships. Thank God that Utah didn't win one. Who did much worse. Never had to win a championship to get redeemed. You know, just kind of go to a few All-Star games. And all of a sudden, everybody's like,
right.
Did that happen?
Oh, yeah, maybe it never happened.
I give y'all a better one. Yeah, I hate to say this, guy. You know what I'm about to say. Yeah. Well, you're not wrong.
We got to talk about that off air.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to talk about that off air.
I'm saying.
You're not
KBB.
wrong.
I'm gonna say KBB. He won a
You're
couple
not
titles.
wrong.
You know, short-term memory happened.
But that's
we got to
my
talk
point,
about that
though.
off air.
But that's my point. Most guys got to win a championship in basketball. I mean, you don't even really got to win a championship for real. Like, if you get close a couple times, everybody gonna forget. And I'll tell you what.
All I'm gonna say is that's a little hazy in the court of law. Paul Malone did that.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's an entire human being walking around like, I'm the evidence. Hi, you need evidence? I'm here. I exist. But I'm gonna tell you though. Here's the funniest thing about this whole situation. Again, I hate to keep bringing it back to Dillon Brooks, but every time you look at Ja Morant and you talk about his possible redemption arc, Draymond Green, 4-time champion, defensive player of the year, multiple-time All-Star. Do you know what he said about Dillon Brooks? You're not the guy to be a part of a dynasty. The dynasty comes after you.
He might be right. He's probably right.
If Ja goes on to make this Memphis Grizzly team a dynasty, we'll forget all about this Slandy. But for now, brother, it's a parade inside the Slandys, yeah. It's a parade inside the Slandys at the moment.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't even think Ja feel bad about losing. I think Ja like did you see the video of him walking back to the hotel with Dillon Brooks? It's like you picked Dillon Brooks to walk back with. You still screaming, it's a parade inside my city. Like Ja, take some ownership, man. Shut up a little bit. Go get in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think, again, he knows if he stayed with Dillon, he knew, like, if I walk back with Dillon, I'm not going to be the guy they pick on the waist. You know what I mean? Because at least I didn't get 20 and 20 from a guy that I said was old and slow. I didn't.
And lose by 40. You said, I don't respect nobody until they beat me by 40. And you lose by 40.
He knew. And next up on our Slandy Awards, I'm going to tell you something. This gentleman, I believe he received a Slandy last year, so he may be our first ever 2-time Slandy recipient. This man, say what now?
Oh, Lord.
This may be our first ever multiple-time Slandy recipient. I'll tell you what, next year if he goes for the trifecta, we will give him a Slandy Lifetime Achievement Award, because this young man, it almost goes without saying, every team he goes to, he destroys. If you're in playoff contention and you get him, congratulations, you're no longer there. Just ask the Dallas Mavericks. We have none other than the man, the myth, the activist, Third Eye Kyrie Irving, as our first ever 2-time Slandy recipient. Let's get some love to Kyrie Irving, y'all.
Give it up for Kyrie, yo. Let's give it up for Kyrie.
Give it up to Kyrie. Give it up to Kyrie. Give it up to Kyrie. Now, fellas, not only did the Dallas Mavericks not go to the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure Kyrie Irving is a free agent this offseason. Am I correct?
You are correct about that.
Okay.
100% correct.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was the disaster that was Kyrie to the Mavericks, for the Mavericks?
On a scale from 1 to 10, right now I'm going to go an 8. And the only reason I'm staying at an 8 is because it has the potential to get worse, and we're going to have to revise the Slandies in about a week or so if what happens that I'm thinking is going to happen occurs.
What do you mean?
If those Phoenix Suns lose badly, I got Nuggets in 5. We'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. However, we got to add KD to the list too. I hate to do it. But in this case, KD and Kyrie and those Slandies have to be a package deal.
Wait, we got our first co-Slandy?
A co-Slandy.
Be a co-Slandy.
Oh, my God.
The tag team champs of Slandies. This is amazing. I never thought I'd see today. This is why you love coming to award shows. You never know what's going to happen. And today we have our first ever co-Slandy. Josh, you got to explain yourself. Why is KD in the Slandy category with him?
Because if those two young men just stayed put exactly where they were, how good of a position will Brooklyn be in right now in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, they'd be the front runners probably.
The Celtics are playing underneath expectations. The Sixers aren't healthy. The
Bucks
Knicks
already
are the
eliminated.
Knicks. The Bucks are gone, and the Heat are some dogs, but at the same time, they're the 8th seed for a reason.
Are they some dogs, or is there a dog?
Jimmy
Is there-
a dog. They
There's
got
one-
the dog.
Bam is hurt. Bam is hurt. So I give Bam.
Honestly,
I give Bam his
they
credit.
second best player right now is what's my man's name? Gabriel?
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent.
Vincent.
Gabe Vincent, they second best player.
They almost stole 2 dubs
But this is
at New York.
this is what I'm saying. We all knew that the Knicks are frauds. We all know that the Knicks were going to win games because Tibbs' strategy is what? You play your starters 42, 43 minutes a night, and you're going to win games during the regular season, sure. But at the end of the season, when their legs get tired, and all of a sudden those other teams' rotations get real short too, all of a sudden your best guys got to go up against their best guys for 40 minutes. You find out that your best guys weren't that good. Your schemes, not that good. You really are not that good because, you played all those minutes. But I'll tell you what. You're absolutely right. They probably would be the front runner. Oof, that's some crazy work right there. That's some crazy work. Chris, chime in on this Kyrie and KD. Dude, talk to me about how you feel about the first ever co-Slandy.
I ain't gonna lie. I man got him. That brother preaching. That brother preaching.
He preaching. Put something in the collection plate.
Listen. Not only would they be the front runners, they forced Steve Nash out of the business.
Yeah.
They forced the leadership to make a move that they wanted. They both agreed. They both signed off on this trade. And also, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and Spencer Dinwiddie thrived with the Nets in this position.
Yeah.
Everybody won except for KD and Kyrie.
Yeah.
And the teams that picked them up.
And the teams that picked him up.
Oh, can I say something real quick? I don't know what's wrong with Kevin Durant, and I'm not joking when I say this. How do you jump from one unreliable point guard to another? As much as we love Chris Paul, as much as a baller as he is, as many things as he is, if you tell me total package, total career, he's had one of the greatest of all time in terms of point guards. But if you're saying strictly postseason, baby, I wouldn't trust that man to bust a grape in a fruit fight. You understand? I would not. It's always going to happen. As soon as you're like, oh my God, everything is good. We're finally going to do it. Everything's so exciting. Groin, knee, ankle. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. It's great to see. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy giving Kyrie his flowers in terms of how he's destroyed every locker room he's been in. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite pastimes, honestly. It brings warmth to my heart. It really does.
And he do it so peaceful, too. He be in
And he does.
smiling.
He
Talking to
does.
reporters like, I love what I do. I'm the best at my position.
Yes. But I'll tell you. I'm glad that Guyton is on this show. I'm grateful for you, brother, because I would have let KD off the hook for being down 2-0, looking like it might be 3-0 coming up here. Might be 3-0 in just a second.
It might be.
Might be 3-0 in a situation where you're not alone, brother. Even if we're talking about Chris Paul being out, you still got a perennial all-star in Devin Booker standing right there shoulder to shoulder with you. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Devin Booker been getting in the stands lately. He been playing some defense lately.
Hey, that D-Book been sitting. I ain't gonna lie.
He been playing some defense lately.
He been the second best two-way player in the West. Honestly, second best two-way player in the West.
And so, KD, brother, what's going on, brother? Is it if y'all done forced y'all way out of Brooklyn to end up, one of y'all did not go as far as Brooklyn, and then the other one is gonna go one round further than Brooklyn. So by PEMDAS, you know what I mean? They basically cancel out. Y'all basically had a first round exit combined. Oh, that's just very nasty work. I love giving out a dual Slandy. Oh, wow. Makes my heart smile. KD and Kyrie, we're super excited to give you your Slandy. You know, take it with grace, take it with love, and all the good things. And now we have our first ever, I believe this is our first ever international Slandy. You know, for those of you who said that the Slandys are too Americanized and, oh, you only slander people from the States and you don't get to slander anybody else that's from overseas. Well, today we're going to change that. We're going to change that tone because this gentle giant, this MVP, NBA champion, defensive player of the year is now saying there is no failure in sports. You know, we all just kind of show up and shoot at the rim, and at the end of the game, we walk away holding hands, singing the Teletubbies theme song that they sing when the sun goes down. Why the sun is a giant baby on Teletubbies, we'll never know. But it's just that way. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 1 seed losing to an 8 seed, brother, come on down. Come on down. We know you were hurt. We know that you got hurt a little bit. You couldn't be there the entire time. But Giannis, come on. For our and we were just reminded by Tubbs, this is our second ever international Slandy because we gave one to Ben Simmons, who is technically Australian. So we're giving out another one. I guess we could make this a yearly thing, adding in the international one. But our international Slandy goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Clap it up for Giannis, y'all. Clap it up for Giannis. Clap it up for Giannis. Now, folks, in terms of Giannis saying there is no failure and all that good stuff, and it's a progression and building to winning, when you look at this team, do you say that this year was a failure for the Bucks? Yay or nay?
Yes. Year was definitely a failure for the team when you look at the Bucks, when you look at most NBA quote-unquote experts, when you look at most people just that watch the sport. When you look at the Facts Over X podcast, most people had the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA championship this year. Now I understand this is a lighthearted Slandy. I want to say the first 3 Slandys that we had are there when the Facts and Over X podcast is all said and done 30 years from now, we're going to have a Slandy Hall of Fame with Bust in there. Dillon Brooks is going to be in there. Kyrie is going to be in there. Plausibly Ja Morant. Giannis will not be in there.
It's possible. It's possible that Ja's in there, but not Giannis.
This is more of a lighthearted Slandy because we all play sports, and there are definitely failures in sports. If there's one objective to winning, does that mean that everything you did was a failure? No. Does that mean you are a failure as a person? No. But the objective of sports is to win a championship. Mm-hmm. The objective of whatever your profession is to perform the best way possible, and whatever the end goal is, whatever the highest award is, that's what you want to get to. If you don't get to it, then it can be considered a failure. Do you take those failures and apply it to next season, or do you take it and apply it to your game so you can get better and not experience that again? Yes. So you can take things from failure to build upon, so you can't say this is a complete 100% loss. But at the end of the day, you're playing a professional sport. You didn't win the championship when you were the I don't know what the odds were on it, Chris, but I'm pretty sure the Bucks were far and away the favorites to win the championship.
They was third best because Middleton was out, and then when Middleton came back, they were second best odds behind the Celtics.
And if that looks like a failure to me. You failed to win a championship. Does that mean that the entire season was a loss? No, but it was a failure.
Okay. All right, Chris. What do you think? Was this season a failure for the Milwaukee Bucks?
So I'm gonna educate a little bit right here, right? I'm gonna educate. You know, I like to educate sometimes. So
Talk to us.
in manufacturing, right? If you don't manufacture the parts in time for the customer truck to get there and place on a truck, that is a failure. You failed to protect the customer with the product that they need to keep their production activities going. That is what a failure is. Giannis, we playing basketball. This is a game. This is a game. You win and you lose in a game. This is a game. Yes, there's failure. You have a team that has won a championship already. You have a team that has been the number one seed several times. You have a team that had high expectations. You failed. As a number one seed, you failed. Y'all took this so light. You didn't play the first 3-4 games. Y'all thought y'all can go down 2-1 against Miami and win 3 straight. You failed. You didn't pick Jimmy Butler up 94 feet. He gave y'all 56. Then turn around and gave y'all 42. Then turn around and gave y'all a triple-double. You failed. You did not execute the game plan. You lost the game. You failed, Giannis. This is not any other world is failure. And you telling me a game you don't fail? Guy, when you lose a mission on GTA, what happens?
It's a mission failed.
Mission failed.
Mission failed.
Yeah. I want to say this. Here's the thing. It kind of hurt me to put Giannis up here, but it wasn't my idea to put him up here. But I had to agree that he belonged up here because he was partially right in that there's a building, there's a progression to winning. However, what Giannis is forgetting is that winning is much more linear than most other journeys in life. We're not talking about a situation where if this team was the Houston Rockets, if the Houston Rockets went to the playoffs with this team they had as a 1 seed and lost to an 8 seed, everybody would still say, bruh, I don't care. They got a 1 seed.
Right.
Because that's where they are in the progression of winning. They're at that stage where you're supposed to be bad. If our Pistons, my beloved Pistons, was to go to the playoffs and get knocked out in round 1, we don't care. I don't give a damn. That team wasn't supposed to be here. And they found their way there. Not only are y'all a team that has been on the winning side of things, the sun is setting, whether you want to realize it or not. Fun fact about the Milwaukee Bucks. They were coming in on opening night, and I believe they still are, the oldest team in the NBA by nearly a year and a half over the next closest team.
Really?
The average age of players on the Milwaukee Bucks is 29.47 years old. That is the average age. And here's the worst part. We're not even talking about just the starting lineup, which would decimate that number and send it through the roof. How old is Drew Holiday? How old is Brooke?
36.
Brooke up there for sure.
These guys are old as dirt. Brooke was drafted by the Nets when they were still in New Jersey. These guys are old as dirt. And you're going to sit here and tell me with a straight face, oh, there's no such thing as fake. Baby, y'all championship window is getting smaller. If you keep playing around talking about there's no failure, you're going to look up and all of a sudden, y'all going to be, well, we were 1 seed last year with a first round exit, but we a 4 seed with a second round exit this year. We a 4 seed with a second round exit this year. We a 6 seed getting beat in the first round next year. Well, we fighting to make the playoffs. Giannis is still good. He's not what he once was, but that front office got to make some moves because Giannis, I'm sorry, this is a failure, brother. You can't walk into the season with the oldest team in the league and say, oh, it's okay. I'll be all right with a loss here.
And Gibbs. I'm sorry to do this to your Bucks, man. I know you're a big Giannis guy. I'm sorry, but
I'm not a Bucks guy. I'm a Giannis guy. Giannis is my guy. He's very pure, very lighthearted gentleman, that Giannis character.
I got 2 points. 2 points right here. How many players on the Heat team actually got drafted?
I know there was. I know Bam got drafted. I know Jimmy got drafted. Wait, did Jimmy get drafted?
Yeah, Jimmy got drafted.
Jimmy got
late
so
first round.
Jimmy, Bam, and
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle got drafted.
K Love.
Oh, Kevin Love is on that team. Yeah, Kevin Love.
Yeah, Gibbs, I can phrase it for you a better way to understand what's happening here. Out of players that had minutes for the Miami Heat in that first round, how many of them went undrafted?
It was the most ever minutes for undrafted players in
6.
playoff game. Sheesh.
6 players didn't get drafted. The second point I'm going to make, I just love this show. You know, I love this show. In 2021, when the Bucks won the title, I believe a young man on this show said that is the worst thing that can happen to the Milwaukee Bucks. And y'all looked at me like, why? I mean, Budenholzer has a job forever now.
I don't know about forever. I don't know. This year lost him a lot of that championship luster. Lost him a lot of that.
He's a Caucasian male in the NBA.
Oh, and he'll have a job.
Not with the Bucks. Yeah, he'll have a job forever though.
But he's going to have a job forever now.
Just to go on a real quick tangent, just looking back through their history and rosters that they have and player testaments, George Karl might be the worst coach in NBA history, yo. And that man had a job for 50 years.
Luke Walton might have him beat, though.
Nobody got George Karl beat.
Nobody got George Karl beat.
Let me explain something to you. If I had a player that his nickname was the Rocket Arm, right, and he was a quarterback, would I say, I don't want to throw it deep because they got a good corner? No! You would say, hey, bro, they call you the Rocket, right? That giant rocket that's strapped to your right arm, use it. Gary Payton's nickname is what?
The Glove.
And he didn't want him doing what in the finals?
Guarding Michael Jordan.
Are you on crack? Are you on crack? Like, are you not okay in the head? Like, that was the easiest. That was... And again, Michael Jordan said, oh, he gave me no problems and laughed it off. The numbers say you're a liar, Michael. The numbers say you're a liar,
that's
and
facts.
he had you in a little bit of a straitjacket, buddy. That's what the numbers say. Like, what are we... Yeah, George Karl, boy, I'll tell you. And that's not even mentioning the fact that he is always in a rush to say something bad about a black NBA player. He is running down that hill, boy.
Him and Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson just had the success.
Yeah.
Anytime
Phil
he
Jackson
come
got the
up
rings.
about a black movement or something,
Phil
Jackson be like, "Oh man, why are you changing the game?
Oh,
I hate this." You know.
Yeah. The fact that man said he ain't watched the game since the bubble, because I'm like, bro, what's good with you? It's been years. Like, what? And don't get me wrong, I do feel him a little bit on like, it was real weird seeing players with like equality as like their last name. Very weird. Like, very, knock it off. Like, what are we doing here?
But that ain't your place to say it.
But you stopped watching it forever because of that? I know what you are.
That pissed him off that much, Gibbs.
Hey, what did Eminem say about Papa Doc? I know something about you. I know something about you, brother. I know something good and about you. We got to move on to our next Slandy. It's rare for us to slander an entire organization. You know, it's very rare. We rarely ever see this on Facts Over Acts, and so often, you know, front offices elude Slandys by just pulling off one or two moves, you know. I mean, both the Jets and the Packers were on the cusp. They were on the cusp of receiving Slandys, but they made it happen, made a trade happen, and got their guy. However, there is a team that held out on their star player for a long time just to pay him anyway and end up in a situation where, I don't know, you could have potentially lost a unanimous MVP that's younger than 27 for no reason at all other than you just didn't want to pay him. The Baltimore Ravens. Come on down and receive your Slandy, Ravens. Come on. Come on. Let's do this thing. Now, fellas, let me ask you this. Now that Lamar is signed, do you think that the relationship is fully repaired? Do you think that this is a moment where everything is copacetic and they're good now?
The relationship is not fully repaired. There's still tension there. And on top of that, so Lamar Jackson, the only maybe gripes you can have about him as a quarterback is if you look at it just from a box score perspective and not watching the actual games, his completion percentage and some of his QBR is underwhelming for somebody that's considered the best quarterback in the game. Do you know why?
Well, if Devin Duvernay is your best receiver, you're going to have a hard time.
So you waited all of this time to give this man money that he asked for, and you didn't solve the biggest issue yet.
What? They got OBJ. They've been going with this.
Is it?
What the Ravens been going with this strategy of signing 35-year-old receivers off the streets for Lamar's entire time. You know,
Hey, Damian Lillard important. We got you some help. We got you Paul Millsap. That is the NFL equivalent to OBJ coming to be the hero that's going to save Lamar Jackson from having a terrible.
Did you just compare OBJ to Paul Millsap?
Am I wrong?
He on 2 ACLs.
In 2023, I was just about to say, off a couple ACLs, I mean, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I'm just saying, if this was a decade ago, would you not be almost equally excited to get Paul Millsap to OBJ? I know it's two different sports, but Paul Millsap giving you 20 and 10.
I was just about to say, Paul, at the height of his powers, when he was with the Hawks, he was a for sure 2010.
He was a hooper.
He was for sure.
And on 55% almost.
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough sauce right there. That's tough sauce. Chris, do you think the relationship is repaired?
Oh heck no. Lamar got paid, so he gonna thug it out. But bro, what issues did you address, right? Mm-hmm. All you did was shore up a quarterback and give him OBJ. Which OBJ, he gonna have his moments, but he's like, okay, he's vintage OBJ, but I mean, he's not that guy anymore. I mean, it's football. It's not baseball where you can play forever. Even with injuries, you can come back and still be decent. It's football. So, I mean, what did they really improve on that roster gives that makes you like, okay, Lamar, it'll be a completely different season this year? They already had a decent season last year.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm going to tell you this. This relationship to me, I personally haven't experienced this because, you know, black men don't cheat. Y'all all know that. But it's like when a man get caught cheating, or when it really not even a man, just when somebody in the relationship get caught cheating, and now for the rest of the time, like, it's like, I mean, we still together, but like last time you said you was going to church, you was at his house. Right. You was at Shorty house. You was on your knees, but you wasn't saying not a prayer, my boy. Like, that's just what happened. So now, every time you say you going to church, I'm going to need a call. I feel like this is a very similar situation. I feel like Lamar is like, I mean, do y'all believe in me for real? Because y'all not giving me weapons. But I will tell you this. Zay Flowers, who they picked up in the draft, I'm a huge fan. Huge Zay Flowers guy.
Me too.
I think that. Oh yeah, you're in ball. Yeah, so you probably seen Zay Flowers play a little bit. He can go. He can go. If he turns out to be everything he could be, I can see Lamar making it happen here for a while. So they are another one. Ravens, you got the opportunity to get a redemption arc going. Okay, y'all got the opportunity for a redemption arc.
We will
going.
revisit these Giannis and Ravens accusations May of 2024.
But now we've already talked about redemption, and now we've got to give out our redemption Slandy. A Slandy to a man who landed in potentially the worst spot to get redemption for him being overzealously horny, dangerously horny, unscrupulously ready to go at all times. Mr. Ime Udoka ends up in, of all cities, Houston, Texas. Clap it up for Ime. Clap it up for Ime, y'all. Clap it up for Ime.
Who Dane House still play for Houston?
Huh?
No,
he's not there. No. That team would have imploded. They would have been. Hey, you know how they got sponsors on the jerseys on the court? Now they would have had Honey Pack logos on the jerseys. They for sure would have had Honey Pack.
It would have been a documentary about the Rockets if they both.
Oh, absolutely. The 30 for 30 would have went crazy, boy. It would have went crazy.
What if I told you the basketball team in Houston wasn't the only thing blasting off? ESPN presents. No.
Fellas, do you think that this is a good fit for either eBay or the Rockets? Talk to me.
You know what? I'm gonna take a step out here and say it's a good fit for both of them.
Really?
I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I think we can all agree that Houston's biggest problem is they have a lot of young pieces that are not disciplined. Mm-hmm. I think the best method for young men that age coming into the NBA is to not only have a coach who's a player coach that knows life on the road and that played under veteran leadership like Tim Duncan, Popovich, different things like that to show them how to be more mature on the road. But at the same time, it's rare that they have, because Ime is the youngest coach in the league, correct?
Mm-hmm. He's one of the younger coaches.
Somebody that's closer to them in age that can also relate and help better translate those things from a younger person's perspective. I'm not expecting anything out of Houston. I expect Houston to be a trash team for at least the next couple of seasons. Sorry, Chris. But this is also a possibility for Ime to redeem his reputation. Because if he shows up to Houston and he gets these young guys on track and they have a couple of decent seasons and we don't see anything about him in the news over the course of the next, 2-3 years, however long he's their coach, then he could possibly get back, an assistant role with a winning team, possibly get back to a head coach role over the course of the next decade with the winning team. I think this is a win-win situation for Ime and Houston.
Okay. All right, Chris, what you thinking, man? What you thinking? Is this a good fit? And who is it not a good fit for if it ain't?
You said a lot there, Guyton. I respectfully disagree. That man had problems being faithful to Nia Long in Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts. By the way, it's about 40 minutes northeast from where I'm at right now, currently. Boston, Massachusetts. Ask me how many visitors I've had at my house, Gibbs, since I've been living in Massachusetts.
Well, how many visitors you done had at your house since you lived in Massachusetts, man?
1.
Lord have mercy.
1.
If y'all know Chris like we know Chris, that is a devastatingly low number. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
So, that being said, the fix for you, Ime Udoka, yeah, you might have definitely learned your lesson. I hope you did. But just like any other disease or problem, it's a sickness, right? It's a thing that a lot of people can't quit cold turkey. You send him down to Houston with the stallions of the world. You got your black community of the world. You got your suburbs of the world. That's one of the biggest cities on the map of the world. And you just think, Ime gonna act all right. He just gonna be fine and daddy. The discipline that these boys in Houston need. That's what you think, guy.
So sometimes, that person need a wake up call. I think that he could possibly be old enough and mature enough to be like, all right, I had this opportunity, I messed it up. Let me not mess it up again.
Well, guy, I'll be the first to tell you, when you get that sickness that he has,
He said he's like Pookie from New Jack City.
It be calling me.
You just need that first.
When you get that sickness that he
hit.
had, I'll tell you somebody else from Houston that had that sickness. James Harden had that sickness. And the strippers in Houston miss James Harden. The strippers in Houston have been on record to say, we miss James Harden.
I'm going to tell you, he playing some of his best ball up in Philly. He playing some of his best ball up there. He just dropped 45 the other night. In where? Boston, right? He was in Boston.
In Boston.
Y'all know what they say. The way that James Harden plays directly correlates to how bad your city strip club scene is. So,
How's things looking up there, Chris?
The fact that Ime got in trouble up there.
I haven't been to one.
Lord have mercy.
Don't know where one is.
Lord have mercy.
So, respectfully, I don't think he's going to be the coach to get you the discipline. Maybe starting off the season, but we thought the Celtics were very disciplined. And Tatum said, yeah, I had a great relationship with him. I didn't know nothing that was going on, though.
I'll say this. I think it's a bad fit for a very different reason. If this was the 90s or earlier, you could pull this off. We live in a social media era. Like, it's too late. You can't do stuff like that and get away with it especially with
Yeah.
your best player. Who would y'all say is the best player on the Houston Rockets right now? Right?
It's either LP
It's
or
Sengun.
Jalen
I think
Green.
I think most
Yeah.
people would say Sengun, right?
Yeah.
He'd probably say Segun.
Okay, but who's the face of that franchise? Who's the actual face?
Jalen Green.
Okay. Jalen Green is the face of that franchise. Do y'all think he's mature enough to process, like, I probably shouldn't joke about what my head coach got in trouble for? Like, I probably
Not at
should
all.
not do that.
Not at all.
Bro, he has his fingernails painted.
So imagine what the world is going to look like when Ime is like, hey, we not doing that lack of discipline nonsense. Get on the line. I'm not going to tell y'all again. Hey, coach, all that forceful stuff, what got you put out of Boston? Now, next thing you know, nobody's on the line, and Ime and Jalen is squaring up. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just have a very bad feeling. This team, that Celtics team was like at the right age and maturity. And not only at the right age, they had guys with the right temperament. Jason
Al
Tatum,
Horford and them there. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Jason Tatum is not a guy that's known for, like, it's about me. I'm flashy. I'm extravagant. I'm going to wear these crazy I'm going to do the crazy thing. He's never been that type of guy. And I'm not one of the guys to criticize, like, oh, you wear big flamboyant outfits. That means you don't care about it. No. I want to make that clear right now. But there's a very different temperament, even from the way that they speak about things. You could tell there's a difference between Jalen Green and Jason Tatum, even coming into the draft. Right. Brown, that's a whole nother thing. That young man is one of the smartest, most cerebral young men off the court that you will ever hear about. He has the temperament to deal with, oh, yeah, my coach is on some different type of time, but, like, whatever. We got to do what we got to do. You going to say that about Kevin Porter Jr.? Y'all think so?
He already been to jail once in the league.
Y'all think so? Y'all, absolutely not. It's just a very bad time. But before we get out of here, we have got to get to these playoffs. We would like to thank all of our Facts Over Acts viewers so much for attending the second annual Slandies. You know, this show gets bigger and better every year. Don't worry. We might all wear suits and whatnot. If y'all get us to enough subscribers and viewers, we might wear suits to next year's Slandies. You know what I mean? Might even come out in the top hat on y'all. You never know with Facts Over Acts. You never know with us. But we have got to talk these NBA playoffs. Fellas, the second round is here. And so we're going to break this thing down East, then West. In the East, the 76ers, despite missing Joel Embiid for game one, get a win over the Celtics. How concerned are you if you're the Celtics, or how much faith do you have in the 76ers to get this thing done? I'm going to open that one up to the floor.
So if I'm the Celtics, I'm very concerned from the perspective of the Celtics give games away. They're one of the biggest culprits that I've seen in a very long time. I would be concerned because they haven't proven that they have the discipline to win close games. And you have you have 1.5 very clutch players, in my opinion, in James Harden and Joel Embiid. So when those games get close, they're going to make the right offensive and defensive decisions in order to win the game. And the Celtics haven't proven to me long term that they have one of those players. And that's what the playoffs is about. Because the playoffs is about learning, having experience in those shortened rotations. Both teams have that. Mm-hmm. Being able to play through contact, being able to play good defense. Both teams have that. Mm-hmm. Having players that can go get you a bucket. Both teams have that. But it's also about that grit and that clutch at the end of the game to make the right decisions in those close playoff games. And the Celtics, they haven't proven that to me, and they've had the same core for 5 seasons now.
That's fair. That's fair. Chris, what you thinking about this? 76ers lead 1-0. What's going on? What you thinking?
I told y'all at the beginning, I don't think they got an answer for Embiid, right? Mm-hmm. Embiid didn't play.
Yeah, say that.
Embiid didn't play game one. That's shockingly bad. Because now Embiid comes back for game 2.
Yeah, he does.
So not only do you have to worry about everybody else getting off, you have to worry about Embiid. Embiid, any defensive scheme for any of the great players in the league right now, you could pretty much nip in the bud when they play because you have to figure out a process around them. If Harden, Maxey, Tobias Harris, and them boys play like they did, DeAnthony Melton was huge. I'm surprised Memphis let him go for cheap. DeAnthony Melton is him. Off the bench. And now Embiid come back. Celtics, what you did is You let them get away with murder. You were supposed to destroy them games 1 and 2. Force them to make a hobbled Embiid come out there and play. Now Embiid could go out there today and just get a feel out, see how his knee. He could test his knee. If he played 15 minutes, that's fine. We stole the game at home already. Oh wait, on the road already.
Yeah.
We don't have to rush him back. You need to put some urgency on Embiid's injury. Now he coming off an MVP trophy. I don't know. I'm panic button if I'm Celtics.
Fighters don't make fights. Styles make fights. This Boston Celtics team is cooked. They're cooked because they're best in half court. They're best in half court and playing a team who their best player is their center. Ooh, very nasty work. Very, very nasty work. For as young as the Boston Celtics are, they're dead middle of the pack and behind the 76ers in terms of fast break points per game. If this was a situation where I had faith in the Celtics coach, if Ime was still roaming those sidelines, I might give the edge to the Celtics just because y'all know me and Doc Rivers. Y'all know I trust that man as far as I can throw him.
Us too. He's on the list, but he winning right now.
He would be on the list. Oh, trust me, he would be on the list, boy. But he's winning, so don't worry, brother. You on the watch list. You on the watch list. Don't worry. We'll give y'all the watch list next episode. We'll give y'all the Slandy watch list next episode. But
I mean, if Kyrie Irving is getting a bust inside the Slandy Museum, Doc Rivers got a statue out front.
Oh yeah. Those are two lifers. Those are two lifers. I'm gonna tell you, Doc Rivers has earned so much slander over the years, but I think that he has enough in terms of Jason Tatum is too unreliable, and Jaylen Brown, for whatever reason, he is not aggressive enough when it matters most. So I think they're cooked. You can't be a half court team when the other team's best player is the center and probably your worst starter is your center. And I think like, oh, this is going to be a good time for you. Like I have a hard time thinking that that's going to turn out the way that you think it is. But now in the next series in the East, we got Knicks and Heat tied at 1 game apiece. And fellas, the Knicks got to win at home with Jimmy Butler out. They got to win in game 2, which was a very close win, but they got to win nonetheless. Fellas, how do y'all think this series is going to end?
This series is going to end in 6 games, and it's going to be a result of Jimmy Buckets being him for another series. Only because I don't think the Heat are that impressive of a team roster-wise right now. But like I said, it's certain things that push you past in the playoffs. And the Knicks got a couple of people that are right there when it comes to being him in the right moments. Jalen Brunson has impressed me a lot this season. Julius Randle, when he's hot, is an elite level power forward when he's hot. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's going to be enough to get you past Jimmy Butler when he hits that second gear.
Yeah.
I don't think Jimmy Butler is going to the finals, but at the same time, we just saw him put out the Bucks in 5. And when I say him, I know it's other players on Miami, but we saw Jimmy Butler put out the Bucks in 5. And I don't think that the Knicks have the firepower to counteract that.
Scoring 98 points in 2 games? I mean, you could say it was him. You could say it. You did it. You did it by yourself, brother. But I digress. Chris, how do you think this series ends?
I think it goes 7 just because Jimmy had the ankle injury. But before Jimmy had the ankle injury, I think the Heat easily win this in 5 games. I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks. The Knicks are the Knicks. Tibbs is Tibbs. Tibbs is Tibbs. Julius Randle literally got injured because Tibbs decided to keep him in the game when they were up 25, or they're down 25.
Down 25. Yeah.
When they already were 1-1 in the series. Like, I mean, and going back to New York. So Tibbs decision making, But, I mean, the Knicks are the Knicks. I mean, you know how bad of a franchise you have to be to lose to the Knicks? Like, the Cavs are a worse franchise than the Knicks. That's what it makes sense they lose to the Knicks. But you know how bad of a franchise you got to be to lose to the Knicks? Like, if we go through all of the Knicks' opponents and how much the Knicks gave away games in the playoffs, Patrick Ewing is the number one. If that don't tell you the Knicks is just a snake-bitten franchise with that layup, he make that layup 99.9% of the time. But because he was on the Knicks,
Can I say something?
Smoking a layup in Game 7 of the conference finals is crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. Can I say something real quick? There's a pair that should be lucky that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving exist, or else they would have gotten the first ever duo Slandy. And you just talked about a team that got put out by the Knicks, the Cavs. So, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Y'all left each other to get kicked out at the same place, huh? Good news is, brother, you went a long way. Bad news is...
You went the wrong way.
You went the wrong way.
Hey, we got so many clips this episode. But anyway,
I'll tell you, I'll tell you, they avoided a Slandy by that much. But go ahead, Chris.
To go on, I think the Heat, I think the Heat actually, bro, call me crazy, man. Call me crazy, man. But if Jimmy don't have no ankle injury, I'm not going to lie to y'all, bro. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Spo, I take back everything I said about Brad Stevens and Spo. They shouldn't even be in the same boat. They shouldn't even be in the same country. Shouldn't even be in the same country. Spo adjustments are ridiculous.
Crazy.
The Knicks
crazy one.
Play against Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Bam Adebayo, 35-year-old Kevin Love, and Duncan Robinson as a starting lineup. And they limited the Knicks from having over 110 points.
Shout out D-Rob.
And they ran a 1-3-1 high zone. That's all they did. Jalen Brunson didn't know what to do when that zone hit him. He coughed that ball up more than James Harden thought was at the strip club. That's how he didn't know what to do.
Hey, James Harden said, "Don't ever disrespect him like that. He don't throw nothing but blues." He don't throw nothing but blues. He a rich man. He don't throw nothing but blues. Baby.
Honestly, call me crazy. I see a world that he go to the finals.
I agree. I
can see a world.
And Spo, the best coach left in the NBA. I think Spo, the best coach left.
For me, this comes down to one thing: how healthy is Bam? I'm not even really worried about Jimmy's health. How healthy is Bam? Because Bam, you can see that he's hobbled. You can see he's giving it everything he's got, but you can see that's not the Bam we saw in the regular season. That's not. He's very much so hurt and hobbled right now. Jimmy, we know what we're gonna get from Jimmy. Come hell or high water, if he got to put on, if he got to take the same thing that Mahomes took at the halftime of the Super Bowl, Jimmy gonna get right. Jimmy gonna get out there. He gonna get right. But Bam, I don't know, man. I don't know. He gonna be an important piece of this thing. But honestly and truly, I've never had faith in the Knicks. I told y'all before the playoffs started, I do not trust the Cavs at all. They have not had their knock on the door moment. Also, they don't have guys who could perform at a high level on both sides of the ball. You had to pick one. Do I get a good defender? Do I get a good offensive player? That's not good. You need at least 2 or 3 guys that they're going to give me something on both ends. They didn't have that. It showed. With that being said, the Knicks are your days are numbered, buddy. You better be hoping and praying that Bam and Jimmy are permanently hurt and struggling, because if they're healthy, you're looking at some problems. In the West, because, facts over acts, we good in the West. We actually good in the West. You know what I mean? We get love everywhere. But anyway, in the West, we have the first series, because I want to save the Bron and Steph talk for last. The Nuggets lead the Suns 2-0. Chris Paul is out, it looks like, potentially games 3 through 5. Fellas, do the Suns have a shot, and do they win a game? If they
you ain't even got to worry about games 3 through 5. Nuggets in 5. I said that before the series started, before I saw how game 1 and 2 went. I know we haven't had a pod since then, before Chris Paul got hurt. Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5. Chris,
well, you're going to need depth you're going to need depth in the playoffs, and the Suns just don't have that. And you got a man in the middle that's playing like a child when guarding Jokic.
The highlight of Jokic getting like 3 rebounds back to back while Ayton was like standing out of bounds watching, bro.
That's crazy. Man,
that white boy can jump, can't he? Man, that Slovene got some moves on him. That's crazy. Chris, what you thinking, man? Do the Suns have a shot with no Chris Paul? Can they come back in this thing?
I'm gonna be honest with you. one of my young dogs texted me. He was like, LeBron was right about campaign. And that's the starting point guard for the Phoenix Suns right now. So enough said. See you, Kevin Durant. I'll see you in Cancun next week. And also Devin Booker. I know you probably going to go back to Grand Rapids and go to the one bar in Grand Rapids because you grew up in that area. So I don't think you should leave there until the season start again because you ain't going to be loved in Phoenix.
I don't think that, I think we need to keep Kevin Durant away from Ron Browse because he really going to want to jump out the window after this one. This is not going to go well for Phoenix. I don't know if they get a game. I think that KD has a game where I think KD has a game where he goes.
Hold on, bro.
They got a game just because I don't want them to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's still KD. You know what I mean?
They do got to play in Phoenix too.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Hear me out. I think they get a game. I think they could get a game because Kevin Durant is going to go legend for one game. But Ayton has looked so bad. Like, it's not even like, oh,
terrible.
Man, Ayton's kind of struggling a little bit.
You
like,
see, nobody said Ayton's name on this show today.
When we think about Ayton, you think to yourself, like, when he got drafted, I remember thinking his absolute floor is DeAndre Jordan. Like, ultimate rim protector, rebounder, rim runner. He's going to be that for the next... He's going to be what DeAndre was at his peak for 10 to 15 years. This man is literally just getting bullied in the paint. It's looking terrible down there.
But Gibbs, at Arizona, he was different.
He was so good. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. And it's really disappointing. For me, the worst part about it is him and Kat kind of suffer from the same thing. And that you can just kind of tell. There's a look in their eyes sometimes where it's like, there's other places he'd rather be than on that court right now. Like
if I'm being honest, I was thinking about it recently. If he got the right coach and the right pieces around him in the right situation, it's never going to be in Minnesota. I still got some faith in Cat. To put it together, much more than Ayton.
Well,
stop it. Stop it. Guyton, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
In that past series, Anthony Edwards was clearly the star on that team. But I saw little flashes here in Cat to where the talent is there. He's just in a wasteland of Minnesota where they just got this man out there doing whatever.
But that's the problem. I think that he enjoys doing whatever. You're too big. Get your big behind down on the block. Bro, 90% of the time, Cat is going to be the heaviest player on the court. Like, that's not even like a controversial take. The average center in the NBA, which is the heaviest in the position in the league, it goes about 250. That's the average. Cat weighs 260, 270 easily. Yeah. Brother, get your big behind on that block. Lean up on those guys and say, hey, you know what? I don't got to defend. We got Rudy down there for that. I'm going to lean on you all game, and you're going to have to defend me. These teams, how many teams now do we talk about, oh, yeah, they got a stretch four. Good. You should salivate. You should foam at the mouth when you see a stretch four. But what does Cat do? Well, I can shoot better than your stretch four, so I'm going to stand out here. And when Ant-Man drive, he going to kick it to me, and I'm going to knock down the three.
It ain't even that, but like, call me crazy. Call me really crazy. But the stuff we see Joel Embiid do from time to time, like bring the ball up the court, Cat could do it at a way higher level. Like, way higher level.
Yeah. But guess what? I don't want to see him do that. I'm sorry.
You know why you don't want to see him do that? Okay. Rudy Gobert down there. Why is it 2 7-footers on the team?
I listen, at the end of the day, I think his big self need to play big. If y'all gonna go to Twin Tower look, you need to go ahead and, hey, big dog, go on and get down there and fully get in there. But anyway, the last series, the one that everybody's talking about, the two legends, the two guys, top 5 in their position of all time, Steph dropping 50 pieces to eliminate folks. Bron is looking like he's slowing down, but even still, 20 and 20 on your head, Mr. Brooks. How do you do? We are looking at a game one that the Lakers stole thanks to fourth quarter asking why the world is pulling from wherever. I know that they out in Oakland, but that man shot that ball. I know that he had to shoot that ball from down in LA somewhere because he wasn't nowhere near the 3-point line, and it misses. The Lakers win the game. Fellas, what do you think about this series? What do you think about game one, and what do you think about this series so far?
This is going to be an amazing series. I have it going 7. I got Golden State in 7, which I kind of don't want to say because, like, I want to see Brian get one more run. But purely based on game 1, in order to win these games, you're going to expect high defensive efficiency from Vanderbilt, which he hasn't proven he can do yet. It's possible, but we know Golden State is a master at adjustments, so they can find a way to take him out of the game. AD had, one of the greatest games in playoff history, which he's going to replicate, but not at that high of a level. And then you also, excuse me, you also have to expect D'Angelo Russell to get that many buckets off of ISO basketball, which he's proven to be inconsistent as well. So I think you're looking at a team in Golden State that makes great adjustments, and the Lakers stole that game away. And you're looking at a team and the Lakers who are supremely more physical, but also don't think we see another game to where they outshoot them and they have 24 more free throw attempts. And I'm not saying free throws like referees. I'm not taking that from that angle. The Lakers are just a far more physical team. But also we know that Golden State can make adjustments. So I think it's going to be one of those series where you see adjustment, one team wins. Then the Lakers say, hey, we got to make these changes. We got to get AD the ball this many times because Looney can grab rebounds, but he can't check that man. So they'll make those adjustments. And I think it's just going to be a back and forth series. And I think as a basketball fan, we just been blessed. But I do have Golden State in 7. And also, it's 10 seconds left on the clock. That's forever in basketball. Reset the play, drop another play. Okay, I know that Steph is double. You still got Clay on the court. Also, you can maybe step in 6 feet and shoot a jumper. Like, it was nobody between Jordan Poole and the basket. He could have took 2 steps and shot.
He on the Slandy watch list. He on the
watch list,
brother. You on the watch list. Chris, what you thinking, man? What you think about this series?
Oh, man. I'm become self-inflicted, man. I'm be honest with y'all. This is a tough one for me. It's that song. What's this? But my body's telling me, yeah. Oh,
hey! You finna go on the watch list too, Chris. You finna go on the watch list too, brother. What you got going on over
we
there?
We can't slander Karl Malone on this show.
What you got going on?
That route.
You know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't do that. Not on this show. Not on this show, brother.
My heart and soul telling me Lakers in 6, Lakers in 7. My heart and soul telling me that. They really are. They really are. And Bron is a big part of why my heart is telling me that, man. It's a big part of it. But to me, I got to trust Anthony Davis to get me 30 and 20 tonight to win by 3. My mind is telling me, get somebody else to do it. My mind is telling me, get somebody else to do it.
I'm going to tell you.
My mind is telling me, Golden State is 7. They've been doing this for 5 years. They've been doing it for a little bit longer. Draymond got a chip on his shoulder because he know he might be in Shanghai too with Dillon Brooks if he don't hoop. Nobody want a 35-year-old that run his mouth and do a podcast after every playoff game. I just think the sense of urgency for the Lakers just ain't there. I gotta go Warriors in 7. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm sorry.
I got Lakers in 6, possibly 5. And let me tell you why. The NBA messed up. They messed up letting that 2-7 happen with the Grizzlies who got super banged up. Let me tell you why. Y'all have seen these last couple games. And y'all know when Bron is like super exerting himself and he's like worn out and he has nothing left after a game. We've seen that out of Bron before, right?
Correct.
Y'all have seen him after all these games in the playoffs. Has it looked like one time like, damn, Bron is tired right now? Have y'all said that once to yourself at any of these games?
No.
Not at all. He's pacing himself.
Here's the problem. That foot that's bothering him, when he gets to rest in the games, it's going to get better. It's that foot of his that's holding him up is going to get better. And here's the thing. You can't let the Lakers win when that's happening. You can't. You need to win because you know that there's going to be a moment where all of a sudden LeBron goes, wait a minute, I'm LeBron James. And then it's like, oh, it's an avalanche of 40, 12, and 8. Like, you don't need AD to do that every time. But if he does that while LeBron is getting better Oh my God. Listen,
Okay.
the Warriors are going to, I'm telling you this right now. This series is going to come down to, I thought about it. And I said this before the series, and I stand by this. It's going to come down to whose stars go to most legend. That's what this series is going to be about. Steph is going to have multiple 40-plus point games if they're going to win this series. Klay is going to have multiple 30-plus point games if they're going to win this series. AD is going to have to stay healthy and put up multiple 20 and 15 type games or better. LeBron is going to have to be Bron at some point in time. And when I'm looking at these guys and I'm saying, who do I trust to do what they do in this moment the most? LeBron and AD or Klay and Steph? I got to go Bron and AD. Because again, this game one to me, at home, with a diminished Bron, you have to win it. You cannot lose that game. And they did. They did. I'm worried. I'm worried if I'm a Warriors
I feel like
fan.
it's different because we're talking about Golden State. If we're talking about any other basketball team in the world, with a hobbled Bron and you're at home, you have to win game one. But we've seen Golden State throw away 1,000,000 game ones and make adjustments.
And I understand that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Listen, I think that Steve Kerr is a much better coach than he gets credit for. I think
that King series, because for the longest we was like, Steve Kerr just letting them hoop, bro. Like, look at his team. That King series, I think we don't give Steve Kerr enough credit.
When he had those young guys, and then he won another championship after that, I said, okay, because he made the adjustments. He made big time adjustments to put that team in a position to win. I'm saying, to me, you're getting to the point in the playoffs. Normally it comes around later than this. It just happens that we got two really great teams with a bunch of great players. There comes a time in the playoffs where you can draw up all the plays in the world. You can do all of the cutesy wootsy, and it's just going to come down to somebody got to put the ball in the basket. And the problem with that is, I have not seen Poole perform at a high level in these moments to where I can trust you. I've seen Klay perform at a high level. Can he still do it? AD just showed me I'm still there. I'm still him. Y'all have got no answer. You can go small to get me off the court if you want to, but then who gonna grab your rebounds? Because the Lakers, when you go small against the Lakers, you better start hitting them shots. Because if you miss and y'all going small,
I will say something that might sound wild, but from a coaching adjustment standpoint, just from what I saw in game one, I think you minimize Poole's even though Poole played a great game. Outside of that last shot, it overshadowed the fact that he played a great game.
He did.
However, I think the Lakers are so much more athletic than the Warriors that when you got AD and LeBron playing heavy minutes to get those buckets that you need in the playoffs, I think you got to put Gary Payton and Moses Moody on the floor at the same time and have them play big minutes. Because they're only two guards that the Warriors have that you can exert on a defensive side, being extra physical.
Yeah. I struggle to give it. I struggle to give it to the Warriors because you got to beat them when Bron's not rolling. You got to beat them, and they had the chance.
I know you love Bron.
It was right there.
I'm coming around. I love Bron now too. I'm a believer. You know they used to have a motherfucking the
witness size.
The witness. I'm a witness, but. When is the last time we seen 40, 12, and 8 Bron?
What do you mean when's the last time we saw? We saw it this year.
Against whom, though?
Bro, when they started that run to after the All-Star break where it was like they got to get in the playoffs, Bron went on the stretch that was nasty in that way, but it was like we weren't paying attention because it was like 30, 12, and 8, and it was like, oh, yeah, this is just what he does. He has it in him. If he needs to go there in that bag and get it, but I'm going to tell you, I don't know how healthy that foot is, but Golden State needs to take advantage. They need to not lose another game when Brown is like, all right, I'm going to pick my spots as to where I attack. Because if you get him back to good, back to like, my foot's 90%, and you have sacrificed 2 games at home, my brothers in Christ, don't even waste your time going to LA. That's a short flight anyway. That's a short flight. Y'all don't need to do it. Go on to stay in Golden State. Tell them, hey, it's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. I'm going to see y'all later because this series here is cooked. If Golden State loses game 2, I'll put my unborn first child. I will put my unborn first child's name on the line for that one. I will name them whatever. I'll name my first kid Clay.
If they go down 0-2, I'll say Golden State is 95% cooked. You can't completely write it out because it's Golden State. I've seen them do some ridiculous things.
Them boys are well done. I mean, so tough. You could bite the table and not know whether or not you're eating the steak or the table if Golden State loses game 2. But we going to see. We going to see. It's a lot of playoffs left, and it's a lot of facts over acts left, so that means there's a lot of Slandys left. I know y'all tired of us talking about Dillon Brooks and Ni Hao and Konichiwa, but come on back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.